Are you ready? Okay, so I would be coming into this lesson, not halfway through, maybe about a third of the way through. We would have read through our vocab words. I would have read through the objectives already, and we would have talked about those. They would have come in first thing when they first transitioned to math. This is what they would have been doing. This would have been a warm-up. This is stuff that we've already gone over. This is 4 methods of multiplication that we use. It's not the multiplication, the actual computation isn't really the issue. The issue is learning how to solve word problems, especially when they can't read. So I came up with this. It's called bunch. And this is where I would be jumping into the lesson. But we only have 1 student, so this is going to be a little bit hard to do bunch with 1 student. We're going to give it a try. So this is where I jump in. So, but we can't do that team stuff that I usually do. I usually do a lot of teamwork. I'll just explain it. So bunch is something that I came up with a few years ago. It's a way for the students who don't know how to read, who have difficulty reading, to solve word problems without actually having to read every single word that's on there. And you can see what it is up there. So you're my only student, so can you just read what B stands for? For in bunch, what does B stand for?
Box. The question.
Right, so where would you see a little color? Where would you see the question? If this is the question we're looking at, and I'm going to read this to you, where would you find the question? You don't actually have to be able to read it to know where a question is in any sentence, but I'll read it to you anyway, right? So I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to read across this line right here, and I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to finish up down here. And I want you to see if you can locate the question, okay? Jim has 4 baskets, period. He puts 5 apples in each basket. How many apples does he have altogether? Can you locate the question?
Bottom line.
Why do you say that?
There's
This?
Yeah.
Come up and draw that for me. What is that? This is what I would actually be doing. Do you know what that is?
Some type of point.
It's a question mark. And you can see the connection between the word this, question, and question mark. So if you go back to that B, it says box the question.
So the whole thing?
I don't know. Exactly. I would be moving to a different student. We don't have a different student, so you're going to be doing everything. And the marker back. Thank you. The next is the U in bunch. So we're spelling out the word bunch, and we're going to use each letter to help us figure out this problem. And the question is right here. So the next thing is the U. Can anybody else read what the U says? How about you? That's a tough word. That first one's tough. Right? So we go here.
Deer. Underline.
Underline, right. Underline. Use the pictures to help.
That's a key
Right?
word.
Yeah. So underline key words. If you look up on the board here, you might be able to find some. Now remember, we're working with multiplication. That's what our objective says, and that's what we've been working on for the last few days. So we're not going to really look at all of these. I always keep them up there for help just in case. But which one of those is the one that we're really focusing on today? Of the 4 vocabulary word lists, which one would we be focusing on? Where would you find your key words? Would you find it here? How about if you write the multiplication sign up on the board so we know what it looks like? Can you find it? Yeah, right there. So these are the words that we're looking for. These are the key words in any multiplication problem, especially the word problems that we're going to look for. So if I read it back to you, all you have to do is see if you can match the words up. You don't have to actually be able to read those. You just have to look at the words, see if you can find any of those words on this list. Now we would be going over this, and typically what happens, I'm back to just talking to you as peers. What happens is I start this usually late October, and every concept that we do bunch. Maybe if it's a 4-day or 5-day concept, I'll do 1 day of bunch. So every time we do a new concept, we do bunch. So they'll have a lot of exposure to this. And by the time the PSSAs come around, they won't actually be looking at this anymore. They'll be able to hear them and recognize them when they see them, even if they don't know how to read. So let's see if we can find these words. So I read, you look. Jim has 4 baskets. He puts 5 apples in each basket. How many apples does he have altogether? Yeah, and what does it say we're supposed to do if you find a word that's on that list?
Underline.
Right. So now when we underline a word, on top of the word, we're actually going to put one of the processes, the process that it is, and I call them the big 4. I don't have my big 4 up. This is something that I do nonstop. It's the big 4. This goes on everything that they write in math or do that's on there. So what process is that? Above that word that you underline, I want you to put that process.
Yes.
Yes, the X. Next part in bunch.
Names get changed.
Names get changed. What does that mean, changed? If you change
Something different.
something different. Why would we change the names? Do you know a Jim? I don't know a Jim. I would change that name to somebody I know. It helps you make a connection to whatever they're talking about, whatever the question is. For me, I might put Dad. I might put my brother's name. I might put my best friend's name. You can put a girl's name. It makes no difference. The name's not all that important. So change that name. Cross it off and actually change it to somebody you know. So if we reread it, Mom has 4 baskets. Let's be she. She puts 5 apples in each basket. It helps them make a connection when they can change the names. Next one, I'm going to try to speed it up a little bit because I'm running out of time.
Circle the
What do you see up here? If you don't know this word, use these pictures. What are these things?
1, 2, 3.
Yep, and if you look at this word and these, what do you think that word would be?
Fingers.
So go back and do that. Circle all the numbers you see. The last one's kind of interesting, and I'm going to read it to you. Who cares info? This is something we spend quite a bit of time on. We get rid of anything that is not important to the question. And this is not really a long question, so there's not a lot of things that we would be crossing off here. But I would be explaining how to get rid of info that's not that important. And to be honest with you, baskets, sometimes they'll change that. They don't like that. 1 minute? Okay, sorry. 1 minute. All right, I'm just going to skip to this then, okay? Can I have a marker? This is what we would do with something like this. We can see there's a multiplication sign. We can see the numbers. What we can, in multiplication, I mean, each can be division as well. What we have to determine is if it's multiplication or division. And the easiest way to do that is to find out if we know the total or need the total. And we talk about this non-stop, because you can use it for addition and subtraction as well. If you know the total, then it's division. If you need the total, then it's multiplication. In this case, we need the total. I don't have the time to go through that whole process. So we know it's multiplication. So we can use this to write a sentence, a number sentence. Multiplication. 4 and 5 are the 2 numbers I circled. Equals. That's how we get through not being able to read a problem. From here, we would do guided. So I would hand out the papers, I don't have time to do, here. And we would do 1 or 2 of these, and then one would be for homework. I don't usually give more than 1 or 2 problems for homework.